is not real just struck back at Iran. So if you're not aware of the whole conflict between Iran and is not real, let me bring you up to speed. So about a week ago, to be specific, on the 13th of April, Iran caught a drone attack on is not real. Now this was because is not real decided to strike one of their buddies, a friend, to be specific, a consulate, Syria. Now a consulate is another nation or a country that you regard as your own because of the allyship that you have with them. So when Syria got attacked by is not real, Iran took it as if their own people had been attacked. Hence, Iran decided to strike back with a drone attack at is not real. Now, the most interesting thing for me is that this attack was so designed to avoid casualties at is not real. You know, imagine your own enemy firing at you, but at the same time also considering the infrastructure in your country and having you in mind. What I mean is, this drone attack was just a warning. It was designed to call out is not real and warn it of the implications of going against one of Iran's buddies, like Syria. Now, let's see what people are saying about this development, and then we're gonna have a discussion about it later.
We have confirmation that Israel struck Iran for the first time ever. It has targeted Iran directly on Iranian soil. This comes after Iran, for the first time, struck Israel last week. As of this update, several airports in Iran have temporarily suspended flights. These airports include the airport in Tehran and the airport in Esfahan. What we know about the strike is that it occurred near the town of Esfahan, and Iranian media is reporting that the airstrike may have targeted the 8th Tactical Air Base of the Iranian Air Force, which is located within the Esfahan International Airport. It contains multiple squadrons of Iranian fighter aircraft. Now, earlier today, Iran's foreign minister said, quote, "In case the Israeli regime embarks on adventurism again and takes action against the interests of Iran, the next response from us will be immediate and at a maximum level. We could potentially see a larger scale conflict break out because of this. As soon as we have more information, I will provide it to you, so be sure to follow along and stay tuned to be the first to know."
This is breaking and big news. Israel carried out a large air against Iran, attacking Iran. This is bad and reckless behavior because Israel knew ahead of time that this had the possibility of leading to World War III with all the threats and alliances beforehand. Iran has already promised immediate and maximum response, and we will see where this goes. Joe Biden has promised that America will not participate in the attack with Iran if Israel attacks. And Joe Biden better stick to his promises, because we will not send any of our sons and daughters, any of our soldiers, to Israel's wars. They chose to do this on their own, and they can suffer the consequences of it, period. We should not even help in defense. This is absolutely reckless and terrible behavior. It is intentionally trying to push everybody else into war. And we need to abandon them as an ally before they involve us.
Israel just struck Iran only hours after Iran said their military response would be immediate and at a maximum level if Israel attacks. Israeli missiles hit a site in Iran in Isfahan. In response, Iran just fired its air defense batteries near the sites of explosion. So far, there have been no casualties reported, but there also have been reports of explosions in Syria and Iraq. Israel struck while the United States and a number of European countries have been calling on Israel not to respond. Isfahan is a strategically important city for Iran. That's where it houses several important sites, including military research development sites as well as bases. Israel initially instigated this aggression when it attacked Damascus. Earlier today as well, Iran threatened to target its nuke facilities. United Nations Security General said the Middle East is on the precipice of a broader war that can be averted with a two-state solution allowing Israel and Palestine to exist side by side with Jerusalem as a shared capital. One miscalculation, one miscommunication, one mistake could lead to an unthinkable full-scale regional conflict that would be devastating for all involved and for the rest of the world. Let me be clear, the risks are spiraling on many fronts. We have a shared responsibility to address those risks and pull back the region from the precipice. Remember, Iran is capable of producing nuclear weapons. Said earlier today, the threats of the Zionist regime against Iran's nuclear facilities make it possible to revise our nuclear deviate from our previous considerations. Iran also said they would definitely reciprocate any on its nuclear facilities. We know exactly where the enemy's main nuke sites are.
Ladies and gentlemen, we interrupt your scrolling with some breaking news coming out of the Middle East. Very quickly and very quietly, the country of Israel has responded against Iran, issuing a missile and drone attack against the country. However, unlike Iran, Israel's missiles and drones rang true and hit their intended targets. The United States intelligence community is staying very tight-lipped about what was attacked, the locations, and what was actually destroyed. So this is information that's probably going to filter out over the next couple of days. But knowing Israel, I highly doubt that this is the full extent of their response against Iran. With the attack that Iran launched, even though the majority of it was intercepted, that was an attack on the country of Israel's existence due to how small they are geographically. So, we can expect Israel to continue to react in kind and ensure that Iran won't be threatening them for quite some time.
We're really on the precipice here. And I think there's a good case to be made that the Israeli state has taken leave of its senses, that it's now become a fully irrational state, determined to drag the entire region into war. But having said that, Israel is not operating in a vacuum. If we look at what has happened in the past 2 weeks, the United States, Israel's chief enabler, did not condemn its attack on the Iranian consulate in Damascus. Although it said it was outraged, how did it respond? It prevented the UN Security Council from condemning that attack. Well, the problem here is that on the one hand, Israel is determined to drag the US and Iran into a direct confrontation. It's a confrontation neither the United States nor Iran want, but is through its continuous escalation appears to be leaving Iran no choice but to respond, thereby further potentially dragging the United States in. So we're really at an exceptionally dangerous moment right now.
It seems like the warmongering spirit has just been awakened in Israel, and what that means or implies is that Israel is thirsty for some war, people. Israel wants some conflict because it knows that it's got a lot of allies. It's got friends and partners that are gonna come and help it. And it knows that even though the USA has backed down right now, perhaps in the future, the near future, Joe Biden is gonna step back into this conflict and rally behind its ally. Because an allyship throughout history, that's how it's been working. Regardless of what you would claim to think right now or claim to feel, if one of your allies is getting attacked and they need your help, you are obliged to comply, even without them calling for your help. The implications of not addressing an allyship are, when countries don't help their allies in conflict, it can strain diplomatic relations and weaken trust between them. It might also signal to other potential adversaries that the alliance is not strong or reliable, potentially enabling them to take aggressive actions. Additionally, it could lead to isolation or loss of influence within the international community, as other allies may question the commitment and reliability of the non-participating country. Overall, failing to support allies in times of conflict can have significant political, strategic, and diplomatic implications. And so I don't really think the USA backing down at this moment is really necessary, and that statement, I don't really think it's that true, because allyship works like that, like the way I've explained it. Now, let's talk about this intriguing aspect of this conflict. The Iranian attack on April 13th appeared designed to maximize spectacle while minimizing casualties, and Israel and its allies don't on the vast bulk of the projectiles. Now, what does that statement mean? The statement means that the Iranian attack on April 13th was planned to be visually impressive, but cause as few injuries or unaliving as possible. Israel and its allies managed to intercept most of the incoming missiles. Basically, Iran tried to make a big show without causing much harm, but Israel and its friends, allies such as the USA, stopped most of their missiles. Look at it this way to grasp the concept. Israel attacks one of Iran's friends, a consulate, Syria, and unalives some people in the process. Some get injured. Iran looks at this and says, okay, our friend has been attacked. We're not gonna stay quiet about this. Let's also counter-react with our own attack. But let's design our attack in such a way that it won't unalive anybody in the process and it will cause less casualties. They did that on purpose, looking at the demographic of Israel, looking at the size and the damage they would have done with their machine power. Just imagine wiping out a whole nation with just one strike. Now, that would have been unimaginable, and Iran would have been looked at as the bad guy if that were to happen. Look, the majority of Iranians are Muslim, and you know how Muslims have been dragged at the center of most hazardous attacks. These are the worst attacks ever throughout history. So if that were to happen, Iran would have been looked at as the bad guy that they are always portraying them in movies, media, the internet, everywhere, right? You know how the whole notion goes around saying if there's an attack, then it might be a Muslim person at the center of that attack. Israel looked at this as a loophole. Once Iran attacked it, they found a way of attacking back. Now, let's look at that for a moment. Israel missiles have hit a site in Iran, according to reports saying an explosion occurred in the center of the country. Iran's false news agency said an explosion was heard at an airport in the central city of Isfahan, but the cause was not immediately known. Interesting. Iran suspended flights over the cities of Isfahan, Shiraz, and Tehran, state media reported. Several Iranian nuke sites are located in Isfahan province, including Natanz's centerpiece of Iranian's uranium enrichment program. Israel had warned it would hit back after Iran fired hundreds of missiles and drones at Israel over the weekend. Most of them were intercepted. That strike came in the wake of an attack on Iran's consulate in Damascus, widely blamed on Israel. Now, that's a little bit naughty on Israel's side. Netanyahu, they're striking Isfahan. So this is a province or a state in Iran that houses a lot of explosives there. And this is one of those things you see in movies where they strike at this thing that is containing a lot of maybe uranium deposits or a research facility where very important researchers are conducted, and it ends up escalating into a huge fire. Let's just put it that way, fire. And I also want to point at social media and the role that it has played in this war and a lot of conflicts. First of all, how did Israel know exactly where to hit? I mean, I know there's surveillance, they're always watching, they've got drones probably monitoring 24/7 in their enemy territories, that's true. But I remember there was a time in our country here in Africa when they used to not allow people to take photos of infrastructure in the country. Like, imagine you would walk up to a building, then they will not allow you to take a picture of that building. If you're found taking pictures of infrastructure that the government has created or built, you'll be arrested, and that image would be deleted from your phone. So those were the old days, I guess, when there was no social media interaction at this rate that we're seeing it, because in those days Facebook wasn't as good as it is, and I think it was the only social media platform out there. So now I'm just pointing out this to share with you the reason why sometimes it's not always good to put away information out there on social media, because when you put out information there, you're telling your enemy where to hit exactly when you have a conflict between you and them. And this is what we're seeing from the side of Israel. They were waiting for a moment from Iran to give them a chance to just hit at this. And now that they've done it, who knows what the next attack is gonna be. But tell me what you think in the comment section. What do you think is gonna be the next attack on Iran from Israel? And where do you think this whole conflict is gonna go? Is it likely to escalate into World War III, or just gonna go down pretty much soon? Leave your thoughts in the comment section. With that being said, thank you for visiting. See you in the next video. Please like, share, and subscribe. Signing off.